The king's back. 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 The king's back.
Yeah. What's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to my live stream. I am the actual King Smith, and this is Wake Up with the Actual King Smith, where I come on to talk about whatever the funk I want to talk about in the morning. It is Monday, November the 17th, and I'm just trying to eat a little bit of this. How do you pronounce this? Acai, A-C-A-I. I don't know how to pronounce it. It looks like acai to me, but I've heard this pronounced something fancy, acai bowl or something like that. You know, your boy trying to get his macronutrients early in the morning. But I hope y'all are doing all right here. This is my daily wake up show, and I decided to give this thing a little bit of a facelift going forward. I'm going to make a couple of additional changes here for my wake up morning show and call it the Wake Up with the Actual King Smith show. I like coming on and doing these lives, seeing what's going on in the world, sharing my thoughts, and having people to contribute to the conversation as well. So, got a couple of things that I'm looking at here to bring up, and let's talk about it. First of all, I always talk about the cost of living, because I'm sitting here like looking at people like saying, wake up. What are we doing with these costs? We have an administration that's telling us that the cost of things are being tempered, and we've got all these tariffs, and the America's being great again. And I'm like, where? Because when you take a look at this cost of living squeeze that we're dealing with heading into 2026, I don't see this letting up. Now, fortunately for me, I'm in a good spot, but I know that a lot of people aren't. Everything cost related has gone up from what I see, except for salaries, right? And if you haven't made moves to bump up your salary yourself, you're behind. you're behind. I don't know what the exact percentage is. I don't know what the number is. But if you take a look at the past 4 years, and I'm just talking just observational, what am I looking at? If you take a look at the last 4 years and look at what your salary has done versus inflation and the rising cost of your mandatory things, you likely have not gotten a raise. I don't, even if you have some type of cost of living adjustment that has hit your paycheck, you likely have not gotten a raise. If you go back and you factor, let's say the last 5 years, you should be able to take your bank statements and go back the last 5 years, do some analysis and see that you have not gotten a raise. Rent's gone up, groceries up, utilities up. Meanwhile, your paychecks are like, hey man, about that raise. So here's how I'm looking at it. Here's my truth anyway. A lot of this isn't just about inflation anymore. It's corporations realize that we'll complain and still pay. Have y'all ever heard of the term shrinkflation? That's what I think that this is. I think that this is shrinkflation. All right. And shrinkflation is a economics term known as package downsizing, weight out, or price pack, in which available products shrink in size while the quality of the prices remain the same. Do y'all remember when those oatmeal cream pies used to be about 25 cents, per oatmeal cream pie? And now that I say the word cream pie, I feel filthy. Let me use a different analogy. Remember when bags of chips used to be 25 cents? Now they're like 75 cents, and there's so much air in them. And it's like you're getting the same amount of chips, but the price is more. That's what shrinkflation is. I had to change my terms because I did not like saying the word cream pie. If you don't know what I mean, good. A bag of chips now gets you 3 chips and an Echo. And the average American household is having to sacrifice some real things now. People are trading name brands for store brands. Families are cutting streaming services. Streaming services themselves are starting to get out of hand. Disney has effectively had, was it a 50% increase in their annual subscription going forward? It's ridiculous. Now, I'm really curious, people that would drive and get their daily Starbucks. I don't think that the average, and I'm saying the average person, if you're wealthy, you don't care about what you consume, what brand name shoes or designer clothes you're wearing or not wearing. If you're wealthy out here, you're doing whatever you want to do, and I give a salute to you. You've got it figured out. But the crazy part about it is to me, people just don't see it. We're paying more for less. We are. I showed a picture. I'm going to see if I can share my Twitter here. This is a picture of a quarter pounder that I bought the other day. And it took me getting home to realize and go, what the hell is this? So I'm going to bring up my Twitter here. You can find me on Twitter at TheActualKingSmith. And wait, where's it at? I actually made a post that McDonald's responded to. How do I showcase the photo? All right, here it is. Boom. So I'm going to share my screen here. This is a quarter pounder. Get here, share screen, and make sure I got the right one. Bam. This is a whole quarter pounder. That's, let me see what the price of a quarter pounder with cheese is. Oh, I think this is just a quarter pounder. This is a quarter pounder deluxe. It might not show the price online. I'd have to log in specifically because every market's different, right? So let me see if I can get this figured out. The price of this, I know I could go and take a look at my so online it's only going to show me breakfast. If I were to look at prices right now, I want to say it was close to like $10, something like that. like $8, $9. I forget the amount that I paid right offhand. This is not a quarter pounder. But I did tag McDonald's in this. Not sure if they would respond. I actually didn't tag them to think that they would actually respond, but they did. They said, this is not the way that you should receive your treat. King, share your contact information, email address, and restaurant address via DM so that we can look into it. And I gave them, because I kept the receipt, because I'm like, this is crazy. But I sent them the information that they asked for as far as how to contact me and what store I bought it and exactly what time I bought it at too. I didn't realize that this is what this was going to come out to be until after I got home. That's what shrinkflation is. That's what shrinkflation is. Now, am I tripping about that? Am I tripping? I mean, when you order a quarter pounder, and I understand that it's supposedly a quarter pound pre-weight, that thing would not even get close to a quarter pounder pre-weight unless you had weights on top of it. I think the average American should start fighting back against all of this shrinkflation. I think the average American should start fighting back against the way that rent and interest and everything is starting to go up. The thing that I always say is control the controllables. You can control the things that you can do. There are other people that say if you're getting priced out, that's on you. If you're getting priced out, that's on you. There's some rhetoric out there that Vegas is starting to become way too expensive. I was just recently in Vegas. Now, it didn't seem like it was that much expensive to me, but you do have the haves and the have-nots. There are different ways that you can go out and enjoy your Vegas experience. There are people that are way wealthier than I am that live a lifestyle that I can't comprehend yet anyway. People that have yacht money, they go and they stay in these suites that are a whole floor themselves, where it's like 30-something thousand a night. I ain't got it like that. I don't know what that lifestyle is like, walking into places, VIP everywhere I go. You know, I don't have that kind of lifestyle. But there are people that do know what that is. They're not worried about being priced out. They're bossing up, plain and simple. So what do y'all think? Do y'all think that this squeeze is going to get worse come 2026? Is the rest of this, our current administration, are they going to look out for the average person? Or will the rich continue to get richer while everybody else stay the same? Ted said that you should have told them to refer to you as the Burger King. Shout out to you, Teddy G. Appreciate you popping in this morning. Oh, I forgot to do something. If there's a like button, see that banner at the bottom? Do me a favor. Hit that like button if there's a like button on your platform. I appreciate those that are tuning in to the Wake Up with the Actual King Smith. Now, let me get to my next segment here. I forgot to even put the banner up for the first part here, which was talking about inflation. Government shutdown hangover. All right. So let's talk about this shutdown. Now that the shutdown's over, what are the effects? Are things just going to be back to normal? Oh, no. I think that our agencies are going to try to reboot like a Windows 98 computer. The VA is going to have backlogs. They're still processing them. I actually just had a claim that I filed right at the beginning of the shutdown that took about 6 weeks to process. I thought it was actually fairly fast for it to be from start to finish. They still got it wrong. They got it 100% wrong. I was able to file a claim with supporting evidence, and the evidence didn't even get looked at. Like, I'm not an ultra intelligent person, but I got common sense. And when I was reading what the rater had looked at, I was like, wait, it didn't even look at the evidence that I submitted. So I had to send a do what's called a supplemental claim to put all the evidence back in there that got overlooked the first time. That right there, to me, is a consequence of the government shutdown. People like the VA, which I work for the VA. I'm on the IT side. Now, I'm not on the benefit side. So don't come calling me, emailing me, shooting me a text message like, hey, man, how can you speed up my benefits? I can't do that. I don't have that kind of authority. But I work for the VA myself. And I am into regs. Matter of fact, what I do specifically is I'm in IT policy and planning. So I understand how to look at regulations and be able to hold people accountable to what those regulations say. So I can interpret what should be and what shouldn't be. And when that rater came back with their decision, I'm like, they didn't even consider what I put in under evidence. So things like that are consequences of the government shutdown. DMVs aren't necessarily back up to speed, and they've never been really fast in the first place. I don't like speaking in absolute terms. Typically aren't fast in the first place. Let me say it like that instead of saying never. Federal approvals for things are certainly still delayed. People that were retired, and the OPM federal retirement system is trash. It's been an overhaul. There has been an overhaul for it. They have moved things towards the IT side of the house to make stuff more efficient. And this is where you have a really solid argument for IT systems and artificial intelligence that can make things go quicker. There is no reason why somebody should file for a retirement in May, and it's what, November the 17th now, and they're still awaiting their retirement stuff to process. That's an actual true story from somebody who I know. Some systems still aren't fully back online. I'm curious when the FAA decided to do a slash of all of the flights because of, or what was it, 10% of the flights due to the government shutdown, how quick you can ramp that stuff back up, call the appropriate people back in, make sure you have adequate staff to make things still run the way that it should. I've heard some people say that federal workers that were working, right, those that weren't furloughed, like I worked for the first 4 weeks of the shutdown, and then for the last 2 weeks, I was furloughed. Some people are saying that federal workers should get interest to their back pay if they were working without pay. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that one bit. And that would actually be a benefit to me. The FAA started doling out $10,000 checks to those that were marked exemplary, and those people got a bonus. I'm not saying that they didn't deserve it. I think if you do exemplary work, regardless of where you're at, you should be rewarded for it. But in my opinion, doing it publicly like that was not a good look. It was a slap in the face to the military men and women that were out there still working. What do they get? They get a pat on the back and thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. What bonuses did they receive? None. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot more military people total overall than there are FAA. So it's not like you could just dole bonuses out in mass to people. But I'm talking about the optics really overall. With this government shutdown, the wildest part is people are expecting things to just snap and go, everything's fine now. But no. And the government's going to sit here and look at you like, here's your back pay, now act normal. You can't just do that. There is no snapping of the fingers and things are back to normal. And I'm going to caution everybody this. If you've actually read the bill, which I might do a live stream on sometime this week, like what was in the bill? What is it that our appropriations are actually covering? And how long does it last? Because the short version of everything that is going on is that we've got until the end of January for our congressmen and women to refill the piggy bank, so to speak, so that there's not another government shutdown come the end of January 2026. So we don't, the way that our governments ran is interesting to me. It is interesting to me. There's a budget. We are in so much of a deficit that it's bad. And the deficit keeps growing. Something has to get cut somewhere, but where are those cuts going to come from? If you make certain cuts, certain people are going to be mad about those cuts because they benefited from it. It is what it is. You're not going to be able to please everybody. You're not going to be able to please everybody. I'm curious if we do go through January, if we'll be able to get funding to take us through the rest of this fiscal year. I don't know. What do y'all think? Are we going to get into another government shutdown? Are the Republicans and the Democrats going to be able to play nice with each other? Can the House and the Senate get things figured out and stop playing with people's lives, their livelihood? I don't have faith. I don't have faith. And that's why I'm doing what I always tell people to do: control the controllables. Control the controllables. Next segment up that I have here, I want to talk a little bit about sports. More specifically, I want to talk about accountability. There's a couple of things that I saw in the sports world, and I'm big on sports. I like what sports does for young people coming up. It teaches teamwork, hard work, dedication. There are principles in sports that can apply in life when you're growing up that I think able-bodied people should be a part of. I played sports a little bit into my 8th grade year and then throughout high school and beyond, up until I just physically couldn't anymore. But the thing about competitive sports and what it does, with some people, it'll enhance the ugliness that they have, the ugliness that they are. And with others, it will teach you how to work and rise above and beyond everybody else. Shout out to Pete. Pete said, good morning. I'm going to give a pause for a second. I had the opportunity to hang out with Pete here this past weekend. And my good friend Paul and his lovely wife. And I'm going to tell y'all, I needed that. I needed that. It's nice to be able to politic with people that are not parasites in the world, folks that are good people, that are good producing people. And Paul and Pete are two good people out there. So, Pete, I appreciate the time that we spent over this past weekend for a couple of hours while we had politicked in New Jersey. New Jersey is weird. Did y'all know that y'all can't pump your own gas in New Jersey? You cannot pump your what? Why is it that you can't pump your own gas in New Jersey? Help me understand that, Jerseyans. And what's up with the left-hand turns? Everything about New Jersey is weird. And people in New Jersey, y'all can come for my throat if y'all want to. I don't care. It's weird to me that I can't pump my own gas. If it's to stimulate the economy and make sure that you still got jobs, okay, all right, sign me up for that. And that's exactly what Pete said too, more job opportunities. So now you got to have people employed as long as the place is open, where their sole job is to pump gas. And the place that I went to had, I think, 8 pumps and 1 attendant. So now I got to wait on that attendant to get done with handling 7 other cars. If I'm the 8th car and we all got there at the same time, I don't like that. I like to be efficient with my gas pumping. Let me get in, pay, because I had to hand him the card too. I couldn't just like put the card in myself. I had to hand him the card. He had to tap it and then pump the gas. Now it was kind of cool. Here's some pros to this. It was kind of cool to have my gas pump and everything while I go inside the gas station, get what I need to get. I had to get my Powerball ticket and some bottled water, and then get back in the car. My gas was already done, and I don't have to worry about anything nefarious happening. That was a positive. But yeah, I went off on a tangent. Let me get back to the sports. The thing about sports do that I like is that it really shows accountability and things like that. Now, there was something that happened here recently that I want to highlight that was the opposite of that. The Pittsburgh Steelers played against the Cincinnati Bengals. That's considered a division game for people that are into sports. And there was something that occurred in which one of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jalen Ramsey, who's considered a hothead, but I've never seen him just like lose his cool until he started swinging on Jamar Chase. And initially, before people really investigated, you're like, man, what would cause him to lose his cool like that? Because it seemed like they were just talking. And then the next thing I know, you see Jalen Ramsey start swinging. Well, let's take a look at what Jamar Chase said about the entire incident. Let me share my screen. We're going to do it live. And let's hear what Jamar Chase had to say about Jalen Ramsey swinging on him.
What happened with Jalen?
Exchanging words.
So the reporter asked him, what more can you say about what happened between you and Jalen Ramsey? Like, why did things get heated? And he goes, exchanging words.
He was saying that you spit on him. Did you spit on him?
So the reporter asked or said he was saying that you spit on him. Did you spit on him? And listen to what he says.
I ain't never opened my mouth to that guy.
What do you think prompted the reaction from him?
Well, he don't like some of the words I told him.
He said, I've never opened my mouth to that guy, and he don't like some of the words that I told him.
We've been going back and forth the whole time, so I'm sure some got under his skin.
So it was building the whole game, it just wasn't on that drive.
And the first time we had a altercation, and then it was the second time.
Is that the first time in your career anybody's ever punched you? In a game?
So the reporters don't dig into this, right? They don't dig into it. But if you come up here, hold on, I gotta mute that because that's kind of loud. So if you come up here and take a look, this is in HD. They're talking, they're in each other's face. And I don't know if y'all saw it right there. Right there it happened. I'm gonna go back. Boom. I'm gonna see if I can actually play this in slower motion. Let me see here. Playback speed. Let's move this to 0.25. That might be real slow, but let's look. In 0.25, you see him talking. Jalen says something, and then bam, right there. There's the spit. And I think Ramsey processed it for a second, and then he said, oh, hell no. And then he goes at him, right? Spitting at a person is one of the ultimate signs of disrespect. So he sat there and he said to all those reporters that he didn't do anything. I didn't do nothing. I didn't spit on him. And you caught in HD doing that. And they even slowed it down too. Right there. Boom. That right there, Jamar Chase, you a trash individual for that one. An absolute trash individual for that one. I have zero respect for a person that not only spits on the man, but lies about it. For the guy using words. Using words. You can talk about me all you want. You can talk about anybody that's related to me. You can talk about my kid. You can talk. Actions are louder than words to me. Until you actually do something against me or do something to harm anybody that is close to me that I love, who I'm responsible or are accountable for, you can say whatever you want to. You can do all of this jaw jacking and it's not going to faze me because it's just words. Words are powerful. Words can get people to start wars, rivalries, go to jail, break laws, bend laws, whatever. Words are powerful. I'm not saying that just because somebody's jaw jacking, you should just ignore it. What I'm suggesting is to take into account what the person is doing, how they're jaw jacking, and for the most part, it likely doesn't matter at the end of the day, because what is that person going to do to you or for you? But the line to spit on a man and then lie about it, nah, I'm not a fan of that, Jamar Chase. I used to be a fan of you, Jamar Chase, but after that, nah, you're a trash human being, bro. You're a trash human being. If he comes out and he has a sincere apology, like sincere apology with changed behavior, I can untrash me calling you a trash human being. But I doubt that we get that from him. Even with this being in HD, I doubt that we get that from him. His team and his coaches and the people in Jamar Chase's organization are going to back this up. They're not going to hold anybody accountable. And it's things like this that I see that other people see, and they're going, if this person's not going to be held accountable, then I could just go do whatever. Am I having a stretch here by saying that? Is it a stretch for me to say that other people are looking at things like this and the way that people will, I don't know if gaslight's the right word. He's like, I ain't spit on him. Just straight lied. We see that in everyday relationships. The people that you live with, the people that you so-called love. This is what we're seeing people do on a daily basis. And when you try to call them out, there's no real consequence for you calling them out. So they continue to do it. They continue to do it. The last segment that I have here is something that other people have spoken about. And I'm curious if this is a thing or not. Relationship burnout. When you take a look at social media, health issues, job stress, money stress, people are tired. People are tired. Couples are tired. I think it is a minority of people that can do well with the everyday stresses of life, and they don't bring that to each other and complicate it and make things worse. I've always said that I value peace. Peace to me is like the number one way that I operate and make decisions from when I'm looking at something. Peace. Peace. I value it. When you're looking at the things that are causing you stress, do you bring that stress to the person that you're with? And if so, what's the effects of that on that person? I think that when you take a look at what's going on in the world, how things are affecting people, Somebody I know recently got off of social media. Somebody I know actually wants to get a, like, not like a smartphone. They want a flip phone so that they could stay away from social media. They don't want information. They want to be able to like cultivate their own bubble and live in a bubble. And I don't see no issues with that. I actually think that if you can create that type of a lifestyle for you to where you're focused on here and not everything else that's out there, and that works for you, do it. You should absolutely do it. A lot of the times, I don't think that the stress that people are experiencing is stress that, how do I say this? Stress that hits them. I think some of the stress that people are experiencing is stress that they bring on themselves for the most part. I'd say, would I go 70-30? 70 is stress that you bring on yourself and 30 is external. That's how I look at it. That's why I'm not really stressed for the most part. I don't bring stress to myself. I don't create my own stressful situations, right? Like if I'm out here gambling all the time and losing and spending money on crack cocaine and drugs and alcohol, I can understand why I would have a stressful life. Or if I'm out here sleeping with 6 different people and I've got 7 kids and I'm paying child support in 5 different states, and when I get my paycheck with me working, if I'm bringing in what would have been a net of $4,000 over 2 weeks, now I'm only seeing a net of $1,200 when child support gets split out and divided among everybody. That can be a stressful situation. That example that I just gave about the child support split is a real situation from somebody who I know. And I ain't say no names, so don't get mad at me. Say, man, King, why you put my business out there like that? I'm not putting your business out there like that. I didn't put no name to nothing. I'm just speaking about a situation in which I told your stupid ass to stop after kid number 2. And now you got 5 kids. And you want to complain about not having enough money at the end of the day. You created it. You created it. I might cut this segment and send it to you to ensure that you see it, because we're supposed to be boys. You should be able to be straight up with your boys. So this is me being straight up. Stop creating the stress that's causing you to get gray early, that's causing your hair to fall out. Picking people that you know aren't good for you, but the sex is good. Oh, they can lay it down in bed. Oh, they can suck a mean one. Pause. But you know that person ain't shit. Then at the end of the day, you wondering, why can't he or she treat me like I'm the man? Because you allow yourself to be the side piece. You allow them and you tolerate that person to walk all over you. You know they ain't shit. But you chose an ain't shit person. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. But that's my live stream for the day. It is 7:30. If I was working today, I'd be working, going to work here in a couple of minutes. But I'm off this week. As I have an exam coming up on Thursday. It's the same exam that I've been talking about for a while that I have moved to this Thursday. I'm taking the CompTIA Security Plus exam, and I needed to be able to focus and study well this week so that I could pass that exam. Y'all wish me luck. I'll be back tomorrow, 6:45 a.m. with the Wake Up Show with the actual King Smith. Peace.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Trumpets bled a golden call. A throne awaits, I rise so tall. Drums like thunder, shake the hall. Royal rope, I wear the weight. Diamonds cut the night, no debate. Heavy is the head, but I'm feeling